Dear students, good morning to all of you. Here I am with the geography for class 6 children. We are continuing the chapter which we have started yesterday. Chapter was the first chapter of class 6. Map reading was a chapter, and yesterday we have seen different topics. In that we studied about globe, map, sketch, plan, etc. And also we have seen different types of maps on the basis of the content and different types of map on the basis of scale. On the basis of scale, it was large scale map and small scale map. And different types of maps on the basis of the content was political map, physical map and thematic map. In all this, I had given different types of different exercises. So again we will continue the same chapter, that is map reading. In that we will see components of map, which are the important components of maps. First of all, it is title. First one is title. So yesterday I was showing you a map while I was taking the class. In that I had shown you a world map. In that you must have noticed that on the top, whether it is a world map or it is a country's map, it is given like a world map, political, otherwise India, physical, which is given at the top of the map. In all the map, if you notice, you can see at the top title is given, whether it is a world map, whether it is India's map or Uttar Pradesh map, in this way. That is the title, and also mentioned whether it is a political map, physical map, thematic map, etc. Whether it is a topographic map, etc. So that what is mentioned on the top, what type of map it is, that is known as the title of the map, which is the most important component of a map. I think it is clear to you. After that, second one is directions. So direction also is another important component of a map, because in every map you can see that with the help of arrow marks, directions are shown. Mainly these are the main directions, that is cardinal directions. I think I just make a decided diagram, like cardinal directions are in this way. With the arrow marks, directions are shown. So you have studied in the previous class, like 4th class onwards, you must have studied this. Cardinal directions are north, here it is north, south, east, west. These are known as cardinal points or cardinal directions. And if once you are making this cardinal points or cardinal directions, easily you can make intermediate directions. Intermediate directions are, you have to make it 2 lines like this, then arrow mark, then it is, here it is northeast, because it is between north and east, so here it is northeast, then northwest, then southwest and southeast. So I just say it once again, the main directions are cardinal, known as cardinal points. These are north, south, east, west. These are cardinal points. And also once you are making these cardinal points, easily you can make the intermediate directions. These directions are known as intermediate directions, that are northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So these directions are another important component of every map. You can see in a corner, directions are shown with the help of arrow marks. I think it is clear to you. Directions, under that what you have to remember is cardinal directions and intermediate directions. After that, scale. Scale also is, as we have, as I said about the title and direction, scale also is another important. Okay, just before directions, I just did not say 2 things. How we find the direction. There are different methods for finding the directions. That are, first of all, it is using magnetic compass. I am still explaining about the directions only. So different methods for finding the directions. Firstly, it is using magnetic compass. That is one method for finding directions. This magnetic compass is usually used by the sailors. When they sail long ways, usually in the middle of oceans and seas, it is difficult to understand the direction. But using this magnetic compass, its needle always points towards the north. And once you find the north direction, it is easy for you to understand the remaining direction. So, magnetic compass points towards the north, and opposite to that is south. And your right hand is towards the east and left hand is towards the west. So using magnetic compass, it is very easy to find the directions. This magnetic compass is mainly used by the sailors. And another way of finding the directions is observing the rising sun. Observing the rising sun is another method for finding the directions. Like suppose you are facing to the rising sun, we know that the sun rises in the east direction. So that you have found very easily, and opposite to that is west. And your right hand points towards the south and your left hand points towards the north. So that is another method for, that is a easy method for finding the direction, like facing to the rising sun. Where the sun rises, we all know that it is east direction. Opposite to that is west. And your right hand, if you stretch your both hands, your right hand is towards the south and your left hand is towards the north direction. That is, in this way also we can easily find the directions. After that, the third way of finding the direction is observing the polar star, or it is known as North Star. Because this North Star, this pole star, that is always pointing towards the north and it is visible in the sky. So observing this north direction or polar star, which is found in the north direction, the remaining direction, as we have seen before, we can find out. So what I am explaining is about the components of a map. First one was title and second one directions. Under directions, we have seen the different methods for finding the directions. Firstly, it was using magnetic compass and observing. Secondly, it is observing the rising sun. And third one, it is polar star. Observing the polar star, finding the directions. So these are the different methods for directions. So we can say that direction also is a very important component of every map, because without this directions, the map work is incomplete. So in every map you can see in a corner directions are shown, especially this north, south, east, west, and intermediate directions are shown with the help of arrow marks. So without this directions, the map work is incomplete. So we can say that direction is a very important component of every map. Now just let us go further. So the third important component of map is scale. So let us see what are the points that is coming under scale. So scale, every map. Yesterday when I said about map definition, I told you map is a representation of the earth or a part of it drawn according to the scale on a flat surface. That means for every map, scale is used. We can make a sketch like without any measurement or without a scale we are making sketch. But for every map work, suppose you are making a India's outline, it is only an outline without any measurement or scale. But for map work, which you see like a wall map, atlas map, topographical map, for all this measurement or a scale is needed, or scale is used. Without a scale we cannot make it. With our own idea we cannot make a map. Scale is used. So the third important component of the map is scale. In different maps, different methods has been used for representing this scale. three methods are here. Some methods are given. Firstly, it is verbal scale method, and second one representative fraction, or it is known as numerical fraction method, and third one it is graphic scale or linear scale method. These are the three commonly methods for representing scale on the map. So let us see each one. First one is a verbal method. First method for representing scale on the map is verbal method. In this method, you can observe this map, and scale is given at the bottom, and here verbal method means suppose in the map the distance is distance between 2 points is 1 centimeter. I am talking about the map distance. The distance on the map, we say it is map distance. It is 1 centimeter. It may be it's a real distance, maybe 50 kilometer or 100 kilometer. So in every in any scale we can make maps. Means verbal method is this, like the scale what we have used on the map. If the distance between any 2 points on the map, it's a real distance. We know that suppose you find the distance between Gorakhpur and Delhi. On the map you may find maybe of it is 1 centimeter distance. We know that the real distance is different. So the distance on the map we call as a map distance, and it's a real distance, we call it as a ground distance. I think it is clear to you, map distance, because for understanding the scale, first of all you have to understand what is map distance and what is ground distance. Map distance means the distance between any 2 points on the map, and it's a real distance, actual distance. As I have given the example, like a distance between Gorakhpur and Delhi or any place you can take, it's the real distance is known as ground distance. We say in kilometer. So what I am explaining is about the scale. In verbal scale method, we just write or verbally state that 1 centimeter equal to 50 kilometer. Or we are representing this 1 centimeter distance on the map, it's a real distance. If it is 100 kilometer, ground distance is 100 kilometer, we have to write in this way, like 1 centimeter equal to 100 kilometer. That is verbal method, but it is not very popular. And another method is representative fraction method. Another methods. First one scale. First one is verbal scale method, and second one is representative fraction method. It is in short form known as RF. So here in RF method or representative fraction method, the scale. So in representative fraction method, it is also known as, short form is we say it as RF. So under scale we have seen first one is verbal method. Verbal. Second one is RF. RF, or it is a representative fraction. Verbal method. First one is verbal method, and second one is RF. So I said verbal method, and now representative fraction method. Representative fraction method, the ratio between, under this method, the ratio between the ground distance and map distance is shown, and the calculation is done in this method. And next is a linear scale method. Linear scale method. So here linear scale method also, the relationship between map distance and ground distance is stated. So we can say that scale is another most important or another important component of every map. So I am explaining about components of map. Title we have completed, directions and scale. Under scale, different methods has been used for representing scales on the map. First one is verbal method, second one representative fraction method. It is RF, short form is always used. and linear scale method. In linear scale method also known as graphic method. So these are the different components of the map and how we show this on the map I have said. After that, let us go further. The significance of map study and different colors of map. What is the importance of colors of map? So I just write this. Colors in a legend. Significance of map study and colors. Different colors are used on map, we know, because when you see this wall map, you have seen that blue color, yellow, green and brown, different colors are used on the map. Yes, we see that what is the importance of this colors. Colors on map. Firstly, yellow color. You have seen that yellow color is used on the map. This yellow color shows cultivable land which is fertile and which can be cultivated. That type of land by using yellow color shown. And next important color or the common color that is used on the map is green color, and green color shows forest area. For forest area, green color is used, and for lowland region, green color is used. Another one is white color is used in some places on the map. That shows the land that is not good for cultivation. Infertile land, rocky land or land that is not good for cultivation, white color has been used. Again, blue color, I think all of you know why blue color is used on the map. Because blue color, water bodies are shown on blue color. Because land areas are less, so on every map you can see blue colors are used more. So blue color shows it may be oceans, seas, lakes. For all this, light blue color is used. Next, brown color also is used on different places on the map. If you observe carefully any map, especially the physical map, you can see the brown color. So this brown color represents relief features. Relief features means mountains, plateaus and with land with much height. All this coming under this. All these types of landforms show with brown color. Next, black color also is used here for surveyed trees and dry streams. Used black color, and this color pattern is used not only on this wall map, and here this color pattern, just different colors like yellow, green, white, blue, all this color is used in the topographical map also. Because in the about topographical map we have to study in the higher class, like in 9th, 10th classes we are studying about topographical map. In this also, this to study about this color pattern is very important. So from 6th class onwards you have to study and remember the color, what color for what purpose it is used. Suppose yellow color, for what purpose it is used. So let us continue. Lastly, red color. So red color on the topographical map, other maps, red color denotes or shows a settlement where there is human settlement or houses. Red color is used in such places. And after that, these are all important components of map. So I think it is clear to you what is importance of colors and what color is used for what purpose. And next, symbols. And symbols, you studied in 4th class, 5th class about conventional signs and symbols. Same thing only. And these are symbol. Symbol also is a variety of features, both natural and man-made, are depicted with the help of symbol. You know that man-made features like hospitals, schools, and natural features like forest, deserts, all these are on the map. Symbols are used. Topographical maps and all symbols are used for representing this. And these symbols, conventional signs and symbols, are globally. It is not only in India. It is globally accepted. This symbol, we cannot make any changes in that. the symbol pattern exactly the same way we have to use in this map work. So conventional symbols and signs are another important components. In your book, some representation of political boundaries are given. So many symbols has been used. You can you can just go through it. Symbols used in maps given in page number 16. You can go through that. So many symbols has been used. It is political boundaries has been shown. So I just conclude this. The second class. This is the second part of first chapter, and we will have one more class for this. So what I have explained today is, I think it is clear to you. It's components of the map. Under components of the map, we have seen that first of all it was title, then directions. After that, scale. So all that under that some points are there. So you can study this and go through your books, and you can make some diagrams. I just give you at the next class. After completing this, I'll give you some works. But don't wait for the last class. You can go through the book and read the book and study the definitions what is given in the book. So the next class we will have diagrammatic representation of geographical features. We will continue in the next class. So let us see later. Thank you.